This is Lord Thaddeus Cray, and this video is going to be about something different. It is going to be about flying cryptids. The first and most famous of these, of course, will be the Mothman. The Mothman has been part of popular culture as well as that of different types of folklore, I would say, for a good part of the last maybe close to 50 years, at least. It started in Point Pleasant, and supposedly sightings of this creature, there would be bad things that would happen after the sightings of it. Its description is simple: a large humanoid being with massive wings, supposedly like a 10-foot wingspan, with massive glowing red eyes. Also, there have been UFO sightings where this creature has been seen as well. But what most, at least to me, the most unique thing or the aspect of the Mothman is, wherever it is seen, something happens. Many times like a life-altering event, or a tragedy of some sort. One good example would be I believe it's called the Silver Bridge incident, which was mentioned in the movie The Mothman Prophecies, which is a good movie. It's based on a book that I have not read. I probably should, but there you have it. It is based on that movie, and if you want a way to actually see something decent and a good way to waste an hour and a half of your life, it's a decent one. It can give you some insights on the Mothman, as well as maybe potentially good spot to look for research material when it comes to that. At least that's what I would recommend, because I'm a visual person. But anyway, there have also been sightings of similar creatures, not just here in the States, but also abroad. I know that for a fact. Don't quote me on this, but I do believe there were sightings of similar types of beings flying around, as well as just being seen right before Chernobyl, the Chernobyl accident happened. And you already know that was a real mess. That nuclear plant that happened, the deterioration. Now, I don't know about Fukushima, but I'll tell you right now, I wouldn't be surprised. It seems to be seen during or before great cataclysms or tragedies. Whether it is the one responsible, which it could be mistaken that I don't believe it is, but it could be. You never know. It seems to me that it's almost like a harbinger of doom, as in it's trying maybe even to warn people. I don't know. I cannot tell you. I'm no expert on this, but what I do know is that it is very fascinating to me. And needless to say, I've always been very intrigued by flying cryptids, such as the Mothman. Of course, there's also the Bat Squatch, which is something that I don't really know about. There's only been a handful of descriptions of this creature. I'm not sure if this was something that was cooked up by an imaginative mind, or it was actually truly seen by someone. I can't tell you. But that in itself just sounds absolutely terrifying. However, there is another cryptid, or legend, as a matter of fact, that it kind of reminds me of. Of course, the way it looked, like the bestial body, the big bat wings, and all that. That would be the Jersey Devil. Look that thing up if you haven't had a chance to. I'm not going to go into all the details about the Jersey Devil here. I might in a later video. As a matter of fact, I am thinking I will. But that right there, speaking of a flying cryptid, that's something nothing short of just pure horrifying. So you have that. However, I also want to go ahead and bring in more possible scientific-based flying cryptids. And these are creatures I definitely almost have no doubt that they have been seen or possibly exist, even now. Science has backed a lot of these things up. We're talking about, what I mean by this is, of course, the Thunderbird, mainly. Now, what it is, I have no clue, but I'll tell you right now, there are extinct creatures that have existed. One was a large bird of prey, massive, We're talking, I think, close to a 20-foot wingspan. A huge bird of prey. This was back during the time of megafauna, so I mean, it's of course long since extinct now, supposedly. But I wouldn't be surprised if something like that was truly seen, even by human eyes today. The Thunderbird, of course, supposedly brings the storms with it, with each beat of its wings. This is an old native legend here in the States. I mean, that's very well-known news. But what exactly it is, I cannot tell you. However, I'm going to bring up a couple of other types of possible scenarios and theories which might be worth taking a look at. One is a very much extinct pterosaur called a Quetzalcoatlus, named, of course, after the plumed serpent, Quetzalcoatl. However, this creature was very, very much alive at one time. Bones have been found of it. A massive pterosaur. Flying dinosaur type. Or flying reptile is actually the proper term, but anyway. This flying reptile had a wingspan, I think close to 40 foot. It was as big in the air with those wings unfurled. It was almost like seeing like a two-seater plane. The thing was huge, like a Cessna. I mean, it was comparable to that. It was a huge, huge flying bird. Not a bird, but a reptile. This thing, of course, on the ground would be almost as big as a giraffe. All I know is it was enormous. That's what I know. And of course, it has long since been extinct. But that right there is something to look at. Another type of bird that is... this, of course, will be more recent. And, of course, it's nowhere near as massive as, let's say, the old legends of the Thunderbirds. But people tend to, us human beings being human, we tend to exaggerate on things, which we've seen, especially if you're terrified of something. And, of course, one could be the Haast's eagle. This is a bird that didn't have really a massive wingspan because it was kind of a low-flying predator. But this was a very massive eagle, huge, so powerful that it could actually take down what was known as a moa, another extinct bird, which was similar to the ostrich. But you're talking about a jungle-dwelling animal that was deep, deep, deep on, I think, isolated islands, and they had lots of jungle. So this large flightless bird didn't need to fly, and of course, it probably didn't have any natural predators, except for this eagle that, like I said, it didn't have an impressive wingspan, but it was very big and very powerful. And it would simply fly in and break the neck of the bird that it ate. I think it was, like I said, moa, and that was its primary food. Of course, when the moa went extinct, so did the Haast's eagle. My point is, if a person saw something like that to this day, they'd be horrified. They'd be like, what the bleep? My point is that there's very scientific and factual evidence that proves that something like the Thunderbird could have existed or could still do so, and possibly something beyond that. As for the Mothman and flying cryptids like that right there, that's strictly paranormal, I'm pretty sure. And I'm also even more sure that those who know aren't going to be telling anytime soon, whether it be through a restriction of some sort by the government or other things, who knows? That's for speculation, for knowledge that may or may not be released in the future. That's the best way I know to describe flying cryptids. They're fascinating, they are very unique in their own right, and I like to spread knowledge of this around because they're lesser known. And I do believe they need to get their share of the limelight too. And as always, if you've had your own sightings of whether it be cryptids or your own paranormal types of affair, I'll go ahead and say what I always do near the end of each video. I'm the producer for the Dogman Cam Show, as well as that of Chasing the Truth with Sean Graham. The Dogman Cam Show is hosted by John Bell. Point blank, the Dogman Cams is for the cryptids. Chasing the Truth is for the more paranormal and esoteric type of affairs. But either way, they're both great shows, and we have a very fascinating list of guests, more often than not. If you want your story heard, believe me, I can make sure it happens. Hit me up at WesVick, WESVSEK, at dogmancams.com. And also check out dogmancams.com. It's a pretty decent little site. And it definitely has trail cams and all that, which have gotten some very crazy footage of different things. Let me tell you that now. I've seen a couple of shots myself, and it's nothing short of impressive. But be sure to take a look at that if you get a chance. Again, my email, if you want to go ahead and have your stories told and shared, is WesVick, WESVSEK, at dogmancams.com. You guys be safe and be blessed. Take care out there. These are uncertain times.